Let's meet the Martyrs of La Florida. In this episode, we are going to meet Father Fr.Cáncer. Father Fr.Cáncer was an extraordinary man. Born in Spain around the time of the discovery of the New World, he decided to devote his life to God and enter the Dominicans. Having a great desire to become a missionary, he first worked on the island of Hispaniola and then Puerto Rico, before relocating to Mexico. The Dominicans were on the forefront of advocating for the just treatment of native peoples. They also insisted that no one should ever be coerced to become Catholic, and that no one should be baptized without a full understanding of the faith. Father Cáncer was a close collaborator and friend of another Dominican friar, Father Bartolomé de las Casas, the famed protector of the Indians. The efforts of the Dominicans ultimately resulted in the promulgation of new laws to protect the native populations in Spanish-held territories. In 1537, Father Cáncer was sent by Las Casas to lead a missionary effort in the Guatemalan interior that was known for its warlike peoples. Cáncer volunteered and experienced great success. A gifted linguist, Cáncer first learned the local tongue and then wrote catechetical songs, which helped to break the ice and ultimately win the conversion of countless native souls. Cáncer was so successful that within a couple of years, he petitioned the king that this region be named Vera Paz, or True Peace, a name which it still bears to this day. Several years later, Cáncer returned to Spain to get permission from the Spanish king to attempt a purely missionary voyage to Florida, with no soldiers. Having received royal consent, he set sail from Veracruz, Mexico in the spring of 1549 with 3 other Dominican priests, Father Diego Tolosa, Father Gregorio Betita, and Father Juan Garcia, and a lay brother by the name of Fuentes. After stopping in Cuba for supplies, they were given a native Florida woman by the name of Magdalena, who had been taken from Florida 10 years earlier. Magdalena had embraced Christianity and was to serve as the mission's interpreter. Cáncer and his party arrived in the Tampa Bay area in late May 1549, and on June 3, 1549, sailed into Clearwater Harbor. Father Cáncer, along with Father Diego de Tolosa, Brother Fuentes, Magdalena, and a few sailors took a small boat ashore, where they encountered the Tocobaga. At first, the missionaries were welcomed by the native peoples, who knelt in prayer as Father Cáncer chanted litanies to God and to the saints. Gifts were exchanged, and Father Diego and Brother Fuentes opted to go with Magdalena and a group of natives on foot to the main village, on the eastern shore of the Pinellas Peninsula. Father Cáncer returned to the ship to sail south and into Tampa Bay in order to rendezvous with the other 2 Dominicans near the main Tocobaga village, present-day Safety Harbor. On June 20th, 1549, the Feast of Corpus Christi, Father Cáncer and Father Juan Garcia celebrated Mass ashore. 3 days later, they had a puzzling encounter with a group of Tocobaga, who were eager to receive gifts from them along with Magdalena, who told them that the other 2 Dominicans were in the chief's hut waiting for them. When Cáncer and Garcia returned to the ship, they discovered that a soldier from the De Soto expedition, who had been held captive for the last decade, had escaped and stole a canoe to get to the Spanish ship. He told them the terrible news that Father Diego de Tolosa and Brother Fuentes were both dead, and he had seen their bloody habits and their scalps. While the sailors wanted to leave immediately and return to Mexico, Father Cáncer refused to abandon the mission and resolved to continue. His journal also indicates that he feared that if this mission failed, the Spanish might resort to a military campaign in which many native peoples would be harmed. 2 days later, on June 26, 1549, Fathers Cáncer, Betita, and Garcia and several sailors took a small boat to go ashore. Father Cáncer jumped out and waded ashore. He knelt briefly in prayer and then started walking away from the beach, where he saw some natives. As he made his way toward them, he was approached by an Indian who hugged him and began to lead him away. Then they all rushed towards Father Cáncer and dragged him toward the woods and clubbed him to death. The death of Father Cáncer, one of the most well-known and successful missionaries of this period, sent shockwaves through the missionary community. Many people, including Las Casas, acclaimed his martyrdom and began praying for his intercession. Father Fr.Cáncer and his Dominican companions pray for us.